Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video. We're going to talk about video games. Now, we do have a whole nother channel. We have Clownfish Gaming, and I do more gaming news over there. We also do gameplay videos and toy reviews and stuff like that. It's a more fun channel. I'm going to talk about Sweet Baby Inc. That's not a fun subject, unless you're laughing at them, I guess. I don't know. We're gonna talk about that here on the main channel because this is a pretty interesting turn of events. Sweet Baby Inc. is being blacklisted by Steam users. Apparently, there is a list out there keeping track of all the titles that Sweet Baby Inc. has worked on. Now, for those of you who don't know what Sweet Baby Inc. is, in their own words, they are a narrative development and consultation studio based in Montreal and working around the globe. Our mission is to tell better, more empathetic stories while diversifying and enriching the video game industry. We aim to make games more engaging, fun, meaningful, and inclusive for everyone. Basically, they are sensitivity readers. That's my understanding. And they are behind, I believe, and many others believe, a lot of the very questionable decisions with a lot of AAA titles lately. People are like, why is this thing in that game? Why is this in that game? Why are the characters saying these things? Why are we... It doesn't make sense. It seems like current year politics, and the common thread in all of this seems to be this Sweet Baby Inc. firm. Well, they're pretty mad. They're pretty mad that gamers are onto them. I don't think Sweet Baby Inc. is going to be around much longer. Several of the games that they have gotten their fingers into have failed catastrophically because gamers can smell this shit and they're like, yeah, no, we're not paying for this. So some of them have failed so badly that the studios shut down, like Saints Row. Embracer shut down the studio. Was it Volition, I think? They shut that studio down. It was such a massive failure, and that had the stank of Sweet Baby Inc. all over it. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, no woohoos today. It's a very somber day. We're going to talk about the funeral march, I think, of Sweet Baby Inc. And after Suicide Squad, which lost countless millions of dollars for Warner Brothers, I don't think Sweet Baby Inc. is going to be invited back to participate in many AAA titles going forward, if there even are many AAA titles going forward, because it seems like that whole scene's imploding. Let's go out to Niche Gamer, and then we're going to go out to Twitter. Grums actually has a bunch of tweets on Sweet Baby Inc. and all this backlash against them. So Sweet Baby Inc. employees incite harassment campaign against Steam curator. Again, this comes from Niche Gamer. Individuals who work with Sweet Baby Inc. have begun a harassment campaign against the creator of the Sweet Baby Inc. detected Steam curator. Basically, if you want to know which games Sweet Baby Inc. has been involved in, you can go out to this list. It's still up. I think they're trying to get taken down. But they've got Horizon, Ratchet and Clank, Neo Cab, Gears Tactics. Really? Outriders, the new Indiana Jones game, Gears 5. These are the games that Sweet Baby Inc. has been involved in. Starfield, Forspoken, Saints Row, Spider-Man, Mortal Kombat 1, which was boring as hell. I didn't think a Mortal Kombat game could be boring, but I thought it was boring. And that explains some of the wonky-ass dialogue, too. Afterlove, I have no idea. Gotham Knights, that's another one that people have had issues with. Let's see here. We have Dark Alliance. We have Hyper Light Breaker. A lot of these are more indie titles, right? And I would expect them to be involved in something like Goodbye Volcano High. I would expect a company like Sweet Baby Inc. to be involved in those. But then you get down to, the Suicide Squad. And so they kind of started out in the indie space, I guess. And then they kind of worked their way up to these AAA titles. And, gamers are calling them out. They got 40,000 followers on this list. So anyway, they said that, critics of Sweet Baby believe that the mission of promoting inclusivity is done at the expense of a game's narrative quality. Meanwhile, the Sweet Baby employees criticize the curator for being ideologically motivated against woke people and have mocked the curator's attempts to legitimize their work by avoiding loaded language and instead focusing on informing consumers. Well, if people are not happy with the products that Sweet Baby Inc. has worked on, I think they have a right to know if they've been involved in it. I mean, seriously, it's like if you're going to plunk down $60 on a game and you're like, well, every other game that Sweet Baby Inc. has gotten their fingers into or their tentacles into has sucked, and it's been preachy and it's been lecturing me and it's been whatever. And I know I'm not going to like a Sweet Baby Inc. game. Why would I pay another $60 to be lectured, at again? I'm not going to like it. So I think that's fair. I think it's fair. It's like if you have a nut allergy. I have a nut allergy. I want to know the Payday bar has nuts. Does Payday have nuts? Of course it does. It's almost all nuts. I can't eat it. I can't eat it. I mean, I could eat it, but I'd probably choke to death. But there we go. Chris Kindred said, the Steam curator harassment group Sweet Baby Inc. detected is led by this person. Here's them trying to be slick so they don't get reported. Even with the discriminatory language filed off, the group itself still fails at the code of conduct. So yeah, basically telling people to go report this group. Report the creator since he loves his account so much. Cabrutus. Felix says, for example, Steam doesn't have guidelines for curators as far as I can tell. That would prevent someone from starting a curation group that focuses on, say, Sweet Baby Inc. and warns people to not buy games they're associated with, which could just list any games at all. Kindred also claims that the curator runs afoul of Steam's code of conduct, which says interactions should not be abusive, disparaging, or inflammatory, nor create an environment that is unwelcoming. Well, telling people that Sweet Baby Inc., okay, take the no sign off and just be like, games by Sweet Baby Inc. It's the same thing. Now, since this went live, this article has only been up a few hours. They've gone from 9,000 followers to, what are they at, 40,000 followers. So a lot of people not happy with Sweet Baby Inc. I mean, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League had less than 1,000 players 2 weeks after launch. All right? Like, people have had enough. I don't see them getting more work. I don't see that. I'm sure they're working on stuff right now, but like, if I were a studio and I were going to dump $200 or $300 million into a project, into a game, AAA title, and I saw that pretty much every one of the games that they worked on had significant player backlash, had suffered financial failure. Saints Row was so bad it shuttered the studio. Forspoken, they lost a lot of money on that one. I don't think Mortal Kombat 1 did what they were hoping for. Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8 kind of ate its lunch. Suicide Squad is probably going to end Rocksteady. I mean, that's what I've heard. So I would want to avoid them. I'd be like, no, people don't like their games. They really, really, really don't like their games. So I think that's pretty fair. But I have to wonder if they're not getting it on the back end that, studios just aren't calling them anymore. So apparently it's getting pretty heavy. Grum says that Sweet Baby Inc.'s employee Lego Butts admits to illegally DDoSing a charity event that was trying to promote women indie developers. This is why Sweet Baby Inc. This is who Sweet Baby Inc. likes to hire. Oh, that's interesting. He says the cancel pigs are at again. Sweet Baby Inc.'s narrative writer is trying to get Steam to ban the group that simply reports on if Sweet Baby writes DEI content for a game. They want his Steam account banned, his game taken away, and the group has gone so they can work in secret. Chris, your cancellation efforts are simply bullying. If you're so proud of the work you do, why are you trying so hard to hide it? Sweet Baby ran away and privated their account, thanks to Pandas NVIDIA for screenshotting this. Thanks for spreading the word. This is Cabrutus. You got it. Got a link to that group's work. Would love to avoid Sweet Baby games. Yeah, I think everybody wants to avoid Sweet Baby games. The Sweet Baby Inc. harasser immediately set their account to private. Yeah, so they're on the run now, guys. They're on the run. But this is their services. And I don't think we've really talked about them too much. I've talked about them a little bit on the gaming channel. Just basically a lot of the incredibly current year elements, let's put it that way, in video games, and a whole bunch of games at one time, can be attributed to this group. Here are their services. They do writing. They do narrative. They do representation and development. They do outreach. New and marginalized talent can change the industry if given the proper support. We want to provide this through our outreach programs. Projects, Alan Wake 2, that was one that a lot of people had issues with. God of War Ragnarok. Spider-Man 2, those side missions. Look at this. Look at those little eyes. It's kind of cute. Our clients, Xbox, Electronic Arts, Valve. I'm surprised Valve is letting that group up then. Square Enix, Rocksteady, of course. Like every major studio. Wizards of the Coast. They're everywhere. Warner Brothers. I don't think Sweet Baby Inc. worked on Harry Potter. I don't think they worked on Hogwarts Legacy, but they definitely worked on Suicide Squad. And so many of these studios are laying people off. Now, I'm not saying those two things are related. I'm not saying that, since so many of the games that Sweet Baby Inc. worked on wound up being abject failures, commercial failures, some of them so bad that the studios went out of business or got shut down. I'm not saying that they're all related, but there is a chance that there's some correlation between products that have the stank of Sweet Baby Inc. on them and a product being a miserable failure. I'm just saying, gamers rejecting it outright. It does seem to be quite the coincidence. So, of course, gamers are going to want to keep track of games that Sweet Baby Inc. has been associated with, so if they do not like that content, can avoid that content. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. They took the logo down, though, I think. Right? But, yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's, if you want to avoid that kind of content because you don't like it, having a list out there, that's fine. That's fine. So they don't like being blacklisted, but these kinds of people like to blacklist other people. They just don't like being blacklisted themselves, I guess. And it's not really a blacklist, is it? It's just a sharing of information. Isn't that what they always say? It's not actually a blacklist. We just want to share information and share information about people that maybe you don't want to work with. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.